By the title of the video, you can probably tell what we're gonna do today. We are going to Drift Week, but before we leave, it is about a 2.5-hour drive, so I'm going to do a little bit of maintenance on the car just to make sure she's in tip-top shape before we get going. First, we're doing an oil change quickly, and then we'll get on the road. And while we're waiting for the oil to drain, I'm gonna try to address an issue that we found. So basically what happens is this part does not ever come on. So like this display doesn't come on. These lights, they're supposed to be backlit, they don't come on. Also, like the locks don't work, and the odometer trips thing that counts the miles, it always resets to 0 every time I turn off the car and turn it back on. It all started happening at the same time, so that's why I'm kind of thinking it might have something to do with something in here, because I've taken this all apart before and I'm thinking maybe one of the connections got loose or something. So I'll take it apart, see if I can find anything, and hopefully we can sort that out before we go on the trip. All right, so we got this all disconnected and taken apart, and we haven't found any connections that were loose. We're gonna keep digging. We're gonna take off this whole faceplate to see if there might be something back there that we didn't connect. We also had an issue with the cassette tape dispenser thing. That's what we use for the aux cord. Since we're going on a 2.5-hour trip, I thought we'd probably want music. Well, I know my wife wants music, so I have to figure out why that wasn't working. So we're figuring it out. We're checking everything, checking all the connections, and we'll put it back together, and hopefully it works out when it's all back together. We're at this point with everything in place, and now we're just plugging in one by one the plugs back here and testing things out. Oh man, it's kind of hard down. There we go. Dude, that worked.
Hey,
No.
look at that.
Yo.
Radio. Sweet.
Holden
All
figured
right.
it out. We went through like all the fuses in the fuse box. This one's busted. There's a few other busted ones. Couple of blown fuses. That's all it was. Emily will be so happy. We have music for the trip now. So I'm just wrapping up the oil change, and then we'll pick up some new fuses, I guess, and we'll be on the road. We're about 5 minutes away from the track now. We're going to the Musselman Honda Circuit track here in Tucson again. Drift Week 7. This is the first day of Drift Week. For those of you who don't know, I'm super into drifting, although I'm not a drifter. But like that is what I want to do. Like I identify as a drifter. And so I'm like super into it, and I want to be involved in it, and I want to be able to help grow drifting, especially here in Arizona. I want to get into it. I want to start drifting myself, but right now it's not very feasible for me just with my finances, and the car I have isn't really good for it. I'm just doing as much as I can until I can actually get started drifting. So going to Drift Week for me is going to be an opportunity for me to learn a little bit about it, and also to help you guys learn a little bit about it. So I want to be able to show what Drift Week is like from the perspective of a spectator. And yeah, hopefully one day I'll be able to be in Drift Week. That would be the goal. So we brought the whole family today. Brought the wife. And we brought Mr. Maverick. Say hi, Maverick. Just arrived. And now we're gonna head over to the track, and we're gonna have a party over there. So we got checked in, walked down to the track, and of course the first thing we're going to do as spectators at a drift event is spectate. So we got to the stands and we started watching, and we're having a good time. Maverick's having a good time. I'm glad he's enjoying himself. But then it wasn't too long before he got hungry, so we had to take a little snack break. So after the snack break, we started watching a little more drifting. But if I'm being completely honest, I don't enjoy watching other people drift as much as I would rather be in the car with them or do it myself. And so I ended up kind of getting bored of watching. So instead, we went to do something that I really enjoy doing at drift events, which is walking through the pits. And that's when I saw Taylor Ray's car. And if you don't know who Taylor Ray is, look him up on YouTube, watch his videos, thank me later. But he just built this beautiful F80 M3 to drift specifically for Drift Week. And so when I said I don't enjoy watching other people drift, I guess it doesn't really apply here, because watching Taylor Ray and Jordan from Arcade Tunes tandeming their F80 M3s, it is just too cool not to watch. After walking through the pits a little longer, I came to the realization that Drift Week is not meant for spectators. In fact, there's only a few days of Drift Week that spectators are even allowed to come. And so I thought the best way to really understand what Drift Week is to talk to the drivers. All right, so we are here with
Kevin O'Brien from North Carolina.
and he drives
93 Miata, the 1.6. It's got a stock SR20 turbo on it. Just like a 6-speed, 1.8 rear end. Just a lot of stock parts accumulated together from a couple different cars. Yeah, it was a pretty rough journey here. Drove my truck here. On the way, we had 2 blowouts, ran out of gas, some other issues. Had to unload the car 5 times to keep it going. But we made it here with a broken axle on the car, changed that. And then immediately before driving, I had a bad injector that got like stuck wide open. Fouled my plugs, changed the injectors, changed the plugs. My laptop was dead. Had to go back to the hotel, get the charger, wait for it to charge up. It was a whole process, and I might have done 10 laps today and killed the turbo. So now I'm waiting for the car to cool off once again so we can keep going and hopefully finish the trip. So Drift Week is kind of a ripoff of Drag Week. A whole group of race cars travels from track to track, drifting, and no trailers are allowed. You can trailer to the beginning, and from there on out, you're just stuck in a drift car for up to 2 weeks, 10 track days. If something breaks, it's up to you to fix it, and you will get flamed if you end up on a trailer. Whether you have permission or not, they're going to talk smack that you're on a trailer.
Gosh, that's awesome.
So do everything to avoid that.
So you went to Drift Week 5, right?
Yeah, I went to Drift Week 5. That was on the East Coast, so that was a lot easier. There were some local friends that went with me in their Miatas, and that was fun because I did it with my homies. But this is hopefully will be a whole different experience.
Yeah.
Get to meet a whole new bunch of people, drive with a bunch of new people. So I'm really looking forward to it, and just really hoping the car stays solid.
Awesome, dude.
If you want to start drifting, literally just do the research on like what kind of car you want. The simpler the better, and just like go after it. Don't be nervous. Like my first few events, I was so scared of everybody watching,
right.
But nobody cares. Like if they think you suck, like everybody's got to start somewhere. So just like go out there, get advice from other drifters, from other people. Like if you want a 350Z, if you want an E36, talk to someone at the track that has the car.
Right.
Talk to a couple people, figure out a nice setup that's simple, and then just start driving and try not to get like discouraged from other people or yourself. Even just if you keep going after it, you'll get good. Because I've been drifting for 3 or 4 years now, and I didn't ever think I would be like where I'm at today. So
That's awesome. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for talking with us.
Yeah, man.
And I hope you have better luck tomorrow and the rest of Drift Week.
I hope so too, man. I really appreciate it. It's nice meeting you.
You too, dude. Thank you.
Peace.
It was really awesome to get to talk to Kevin and hear his story with Drift Week so far. If you want to follow him, here's his Instagram. And from what I've seen on his social media, he has had such a great rest of his Drift Week. So then we continued walking around the pits, and I really wanted to interview these dogs, but they didn't seem too interested. But then we ended up meeting and getting to talk to some really awesome people, so here's the next one.
Cody Slack of BC Racing.
And Phoebe Slack of Phoebe Slack Racing. No, just kidding.
So tell me a little about what you guys are doing here.
I was actually kind of the co-creator along with Aaron Losey and Chelsea Genofa way back in the day, so it's fun to finally come out to one. I've been behind the desk and, kind of just doing a lot of office work, and now it's finally putting myself out here and doing it myself. So
that's cool.
It's really exciting.
That's
Definitely
really awesome.
The best place to get as much seat time as possible. So decided to come out here.
How has it been so far with the Mustang?
Great so far. I've been the nerves have been getting the best of me so far, but I went out for a couple of laps, starting to get it all figured out. And yeah, definitely tomorrow's going to be an awesome day.
And if you had one thing to say to anybody else who's wanting to get into drifting, I know this is your first time drifting.
It's the first full track day.
Yeah, I've done a bunch of like skid pad days,
Gotcha.
but the first like real on track day. But it's honestly, it's just get as much seat time as possible in any way. Don't try to spend all the money and build your car into this crazy thing. Just get a simple setup and go out and have fun.
Awesome.
And this may be my first time drifting, but I've helped hundreds of athletes over the years, and that's the same thing I tell them. It's like, don't overcomplicate it, just figure out a setup and have fun.
It's so much easier said than done, too.
Because you start...
Because as many hours, not hundreds of thousands, but thousands of hours that you've been out.
Yeah.
And now finally getting on the other side, it's like you say, don't get in your head. And it happens to anyone.
Yeah.
People who have been out here also saying the same thing when they've done this hundreds of times as well.
Right.
So it happens to everybody. So I think just having the guts to go out and do it is enough.
Yeah.
No matter what.
We're glad that you guys are out here doing it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Man, those guys were so cool. My wife and I ended up talking with them for like 20 minutes after the interview just because of how fun it was to talk with them. They're really great, down-to-earth people. And you guys have to go follow them on Instagram because they're making a vlog of the entire Drift Week experience, and I just can't wait for that. It's going to be super awesome. Hi guys, Drift Week is... Oh wait, no. I was going to say it's officially over. The first day of Drift Week is almost over. I just wanted to show my favorite car of the day. I don't know whose it is, but it is beautiful. And it's also a beautiful sunset. But yeah, we're just gonna keep on going and chugging along. So at this point we had our fun. I feel like I had a good idea of what Drift Week was, but I knew there was one person in particular that I needed to talk to if I really wanted to understand what Drift Week really is all about. Aaron Losi, you're like running this show, right? Mm-hmm. So tell us a little about how you started Drift Week and how it became to what it is today.
I hate myself. I wanted more work. I wanted to be a janitor more often than I normally was. I didn't want to see my family very much. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's fun. I'm trying to make a very concise, quick statement. I'm getting older and I've been drifting for like 20 years. And what I wanted is not the exact same thing of going to your local track and like redoing the exact same thing we're always doing.
Right.
I wanted new experiences. And I wanted to create something that was different. Had a bunch of things I wanted to do, a little gimmicky, and like all these different things. And the big thing was I wanted to drive tracks all over the country or world that I hadn't driven before. I wanted to do it with a group of drivers that are really good that I wanted to drive with. So you kind of have to bring your friends along with you to do things. Otherwise, if you're driving by yourself, it's not very much fun. I needed to condense everything in a time period. So I was like, let's just do something crazy. I was like, let's stack everything up. Let's do this. Let's street drive the cars as the gimmick. Let's challenge ourselves. This is all crazy as hell. And it was challenging as a driver. It was challenging as a mechanic. It was challenging as an event host because every single time we would show up to do something, I didn't know what we were doing. I didn't know where we were. I was like tired. I didn't know the track. I didn't know the staff. It was challenging. It was hard. And it wasn't always great, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Because I didn't know if we'd fail. But everyone was really good spirited and we all made it work. And then after the first one, I refined it heavily. I just want everybody to have a really good time and an adventure they would never get. And it gets really crazy. Like we go all over the country. I think I've done like 26 different tracks or something so far in Drift Week, which is more than most people drive in their entire career. Right. But I just want to create like experiences where people really enjoy themselves. Most of the people that do Drift Week are return drivers. The staff is return people. It's kind of like a little family.
That's awesome.
There we go.
Cool.
Is that your answer?
No, yeah, that's great.
I ramble.
No, you're good. Like I was saying, I'm kind of like a nobody here. I don't even drive. I want to drive eventually, but like I see like drifting and I want to have that. I also want other people to be able to see that and have that fun and stuff. It's just me. I'm trying to start something for myself, but like I also want to help other people get into this as well. So do you have like any kind of advice for that?
No one ever likes the answers I give, so I'm going to give you an answer you don't like. You should go drive yourself, do it at a pace that you can enjoy it. You're in no position to worry about other people. You don't have the experience. You don't know what the average person wants. You don't know where like the scene needs to go. You don't need that responsibility in your life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like what you need is to go enjoy yourself because maybe you won't even want to drift because it's too difficult. It's all these things.
Right.
The last thing someone like yourself needs to do is like educate people in the wrong way and get them in and get them excited. Like you should just enjoy yourself. Drifting is about enjoyment. And after you've been in it for like 10 years and you know how to guide people, you can like have the responsibility of doing that stuff.
Right.
So I was gonna say, just enjoy yourself and like go enjoy drifting and do it for a while and see what you like. Because I would say most people in drifting are probably too inexperienced to help other people, but they don't know it and they tell everybody advice and then it's a joke.
Interesting. I've never thought about it that way. But
I lived through it.
right, and you did
miserable.
it. You did it for fun, right? It was like you did that for yourself,
Yeah.
but you are also creating such a great experience for other people, and
Thanks.
I appreciate it. I know, obviously, all these people here appreciate it. So
Do you have a drift car?
no,
Oh. Do you have an Aceto rig?
no, I'm trying to convince her to let me get a rig.
Yeah, that's one of my big things I would say is if you're new and you don't have a car, go like build a little PC. If you already, most people already have a computer, maybe they have a cheap like gaming card.
Right.
Build a little Aceto rig. Don't tell her it costs $2,500.
No,
We burn the cost of an Aceto rig like a weekend going racing most of the time.
Right.
Drifting is incredibly abusive. Racing is for people that hate money and love work. Drifters work so much more than a normal human realizes.
Yeah.
We have 40-hour jobs in a month or a week, and then we also work 40 hours on our drift car harder than the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Everybody thinks we get paid to do this, and almost none of us do.
Right.
I don't know what happened to the audio here, but it's okay because it was the end of the interview anyways. But you heard it from Aaron Losey himself. If you're going to get into drifting, just do it for fun.
All right, man. That is a wrap on day one of drifting. I wish I could go like the whole way, but it's just, as a spectator, it's really not that fun, I guess. We're gonna get dinner first, and then we're gonna go home. Thanks a lot for stopping in, watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something about Drift Week, because I certainly did. I will see you guys in the next one.